All right, guys, welcome back. This is your host, Hunter McWaters. Thank you for listening. Appreciate y'all's support. And this will be the last week of these recorded conversations that I had live at the Hunt Expo in Salt Lake City. I do want to recommend one more time, if you've never been, to check out the Hunt Expo. It's a great way to support conservation, check out the latest gear and gadgets, see what's going on in the industry, and meet some of your favorite content creators and whatnot. It's really the best time and place that I know of where pretty much everybody in the Western hunting sphere is in one place under one roof, and it's just a great time. So whether you want to just network or you want to just go and check it out, it's an awesome experience, and you can support conservation by being there. So anyway, like I said, this is the last week of the episodes I recorded live at the Expo, and it's a good one. I'm starting out with talking to Joesph Von Benedikt of the Backcountry Hunting Podcast. He's also a longtime gun and outdoor writer, several publications, including Peterson's Hunting magazine, and others, and just a really unique, interesting guy. If you get a chance, go to YouTube and check out the video version, because Joesph just has like a just cool, unique, kind of old school style that he wear. He's got the hat and the vest, and he's just a unique character and a really cool guy. So if you get a chance, go to YouTube, check out these videos. It's kind of a rare opportunity to see me doing some podcasting in person, which is fun. And then I'm going to sit down with, to be honest, I don't remember his name. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. I apologize. I don't recall his name. I apologize. But he runs a company that is very apropos, I believe, to a lot of you folks out there listening, which is why I interviewed him. Here we go. His name is Darrin Cooper. Sorry about that. But he is the owner and CEO of rentoutdoorgear.com. And the reason I want to sit down with him is because his company offers a really cool service where, it sounds pretty self-explanatory, but you can pretty much rent anything, or not anything, but he has a large inventory of outdoor products that you can rent for Western hunts. So let's say you're like me, coming from the East Coast, you're planning your first trip, you don't necessarily want to drop thousands of dollars on gear, or you want to try out a new piece of gear before buying it. You can literally go to rentoutdoorgear.com. You can rent packs, tripods, optics. He's got a full suite of just amazing killer optics you can rent. Even weapon systems like rifles with optics, and just that's just to name a few. But he has camping gear as well. So it's a really cool idea for a company, and something I think that a lot of you guys might want to know about, because if you're just getting into the game, or like I said, want to try out a new piece of gear, it's a really cool resource. So check that out, rentoutdoorgear.com. We talk about the company. So, and then lastly, I get to sit down with Jonathan, aka Redbeard McCormick. And Jonathan's a cool dude. He's an adult onset hunter, as he calls it, and really a pretty killer archer as well. But he's from out there in Utah, and he has his own podcast called the Redbeard Outdoors Podcast. He's got like 200 or something episodes. He does like 3 a week or something. So he's crushing the podcasts. Pretty inspirational dude. He does gear reviews. And so we catch up and get to talk a little bit. And so check out his podcast as well. And I hope you guys enjoy. This is the last week of these live Expo episodes. Hope you guys enjoy them. Let me know what you think. And again, it's kind of a rare opportunity to be able to see me engaging with these folks in person on videos. So yeah, go to YouTube and check them out, and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about them. If you hate them, you think they're stupid, and you think I should never do it again, that's fine. Let me know. I think they're cool, but if you don't like them, I'm always down for feedback and want to listen to what you guys have to say. So let me know what you think about these episodes. If you haven't done so yet, please leave me a rating or review on Apple or Spotify. It's really helpful to me to get the name and the message of the podcast out there. So anyway, let's just jump into this episode, and I hope you guys enjoy. See you on the next one. So guys, I'm here with Joesph Von Benedikt at the Hunt Expo, and we're going to do this again because I forgot to hit record. So sorry about that,
I've never done that.
Oh my gosh. So we were talking about desert hunting and aoudad, and you were telling me you went down to hunt some coos with Barnes.
Yeah, so this was 2015. I was hunting with Wade Lemon, a really good outfitter, and my friend of Barnes they'd purchased one of Wade Lemon Hunting's packages for a mule deer and a coos deer, but he said, if you want to come with me, I'll shoot the mule deer and you can shoot the coos deer.
Nice.
Okay,
yeah.
Happy to.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a young guide working down there, and I'm not going to name names just for privacy reasons, but top-notch guy with really good eyes, just a natural at finding deer in those really challenging desert environments. Yeah.
And you got the discipline to like glue that glass to your face all day.
Yeah. So this guy was guiding a fairly well-off young client, and the year before, this client had come and bought one of the packages for a Sonora mule deer and a coos deer, and he shot a good mule deer, and he shot a 131-inch coos deer.
Wow.
Big, clean 3x3 with like an 11-inch dropper.
Wow.
Big coos deer, right? So he came back, and that particular
11-inch dropper?
Yeah. Unusual.
Yeah.
So that year he bought 2 packages.
Okay.
And he said, I want to shoot the first really good mule deer I see. Then we're going to hold out for a 200+ inch mule deer, and I'm going to shoot 1 coos deer. But Mr. Guide, right? I want you to shoot 1 because you got me such a
cool.
fantastic coos deer last year. So I'm going to gift you one of my coos deer opportunities.
That's cool.
So they went out and they got him something like 196-inch non-typical mule deer early on.
Sonoran?
Yep.
Okay.
Things were great, hunky-dory. They'd been hunting a couple more days, and one evening with about 20 minutes of light left, they were kind of out of mule deer to hunt in that specific area. So they said, let's run up this pinnacle real quick to this glassing point. They were actually in a truck. We'll just glass real quick and see if we pick up any coos deer before heading back to camp. So they got up to that point. Almost instantly, this guide found a deer.
Okay.
And it was something like a half mile off, and they were both sharing 1 rifle.
Okay.
And it was a 6.5 by 284. This is back before the 6.5 PRC took off, right?
Okay.
It hadn't even been introduced, I think. He grabbed that rifle and just ran for about a quarter mile through the desert, dropped to his belly, and shot this buck. They went and collected it, brought it back into camp, and I got to put hands on this deer while it was still warm, look it over, and it was one of those, it wasn't just a one-in-a-lifetime buck, it was one in 100 lifetimes.
Yeah.
So Boone and Crockett, for that 4-year period, printed a book, right, with all the new entries. This buck outscored the top one by something like 15 points. Did not enter it. He's one of those classic kind of understated guides. The buck green scored 153.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Palmation like a moose. Heavy times.
Dude,
I mean,
that's
he
insane
was
for a coos deer.
Prehistoric. Yeah. And I got to, I wanted to lick his antlers. I got to handle that deer.
Half of that antler is a good coos deer.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, that's so cool. So I was thinking this year about how cool it is. I know you're a big Alaska guy too, but how cool it is, like going from shooting a Sitka blacktail in 21, on Kodiak in August, lush green, just like basically a rainforest almost, but like up high, and then coming down and being able to take a deer in the desert, and then everything in between, Montana this year, a couple other places. So it's pretty cool to be able to chase deer in different locations and stuff like that. But I know you're a big Alaska guy, right? If you had to hunt like the desert or Alaska, which one are you going for? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'd said it in the previous recording, I didn't say it here, but spent a few days alone in the desert looking for Barbary sheep OTC, and then before that I was in the desert for 10 days, and I found a stud desert bighorn and got some footage of him while I was looking for sheep, and I don't know, something about it, I kind of was like, wow, the desert is something special about it.
Magical.
And those Coues deer, when they get old, they get gnarly and heavy, and it's I always really wanted to hunt a Dall sheep, and like now I'm like, I don't know, desert bighorn might be, I don't know. What do you think?
No, yeah, a desert sheep would be terrific.
Yeah.
Dall sheep's also incredible. I've never done one, but I've been in their country. I've followed that a lot. I hope to hunt one someday, but it's ultimate northern mountain hunt, in my opinion. But between desert hunting and Alaska, they both have their own magic.
Yeah, so much difference.
I probably, if you take the percentage of moments in a day that I enjoy the most between the two areas, I'd probably have to say the desert.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
You kind of grew up like in a deserty type environment, right?
Southern Utah. Yeah. I love the desert evenings, the desert mornings with the special light that comes through there. You generally will have real crisp cold at night, but you won't have that bone-eating, humid cold. You generally don't have the insane winds that you get in Alaska.
Yeah. You don't usually lose 3 days to fog and rain.
Yeah. So the the desert, even though it's a desert, right? It is probably a gentler place than deep country Alaska.
Yeah. Probably had to agree with you.
Yeah. And Alaska, people imagine it teeming with wildlife, and it can be. If you catch the caribou migration, it's like you're in the middle of New York City, right? If you miss it, you're on the moon for a week, right?
My first caribou hunt, we were in there. You could not take one step without stepping in a caribou trap or scat, but they had moved on, and we were back there 3.5 days, didn't see a single animal.
Yeah, not a sign of life.
Nothing.
Yeah. So there is that. They both have their inherent dangers. You can fall from a mountain in Alaska or a cliff in the desert. Alaska, you have actually the big bears and so forth. They don't worry me as much as some of the scorpions, the little translucent scorpions and so forth in the desert.
Tarantulas? No thanks.
Tarantulas are,
I just hate spiders.
Nasty, but most of them aren't that dangerous.
Yeah.
But as a kid, we used to pack tents into desert country hunting mule deer because of the scorpions. That was the only reason. They'd climb in your sleeping bag with you.
Ooh, yeah.
And, that's a welcome I never wanted to have.
No.
And so even though bears are like more overwhelmingly scary, the scorpions were much more of a real present threat. Yeah. I have a crazy story about another desert dweller, a rattlesnake, if you want to hear it.
For sure.
So where I grew up, there was the Boulder Outdoor Survival School. And at one point, it was international. They had courses in Old Mexico and Africa, around the world. Some of the best instructors ever. They do up to 29-day desert courses, pure survival.
Wow.
Like you got to take a knife, and I think halfway through you got a wool blanket.
Wow.
That is it, right?
29 days.
It took people like Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, and Lucy Liu after the Charlie's Angels film came out. They came and did it. Anyway, pretty cool outfit. One of their instructors was sleeping in a sleeping bag, this time luxury, right? In the desert at one point, and this is not inflated. This is not made up. She woke up in the middle of the night feeling something brushing against her neck. And she was smart. She kind of froze instead of just doing this, right? Because she kind of recognized scales. A rattlesnake was crawling into her sleeping bag. It crawled in and basically curled up, not coiled, but curled up between her breasts, inside the sleeping bag.
Not a convenient spot.
No, it was like 5 hours till daylight. She
had to just sit there.
She held dead still till daylight came. The sun came up and that snake crawled out. I think she was.
Oh, so she couldn't get anyone to take it off her. Like she had to just wait it out.
Yeah.
Dude, that's intense.
That takes way more nerve than I'd ever had. I'd have come out of that sleeping bag like a monkey out of a hot frying pan.
I think about hour 3 I would have been tried to grab it. I don't know though, because you mess up, you're dead.
Yeah. or really, really sick.
Yeah. I mean, that's right by your heart, too.
And this was before satellite emergency communicators and stuff, you know.
That's
She'd have had to hike out to get help.
That's crazy. So, do you have any Alaska adventures planned for this year?
Not for this year.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I do have some pretty cool trips, some mountain trips. I'm planning to go to Argentina, the red stag, black buck, and wild boar.
For the roar?
If we're lucky.
Yeah.
And then, if the stars line up, to Spain for chamois. Going to climb into the Pyrenees in pursuit of chamois.
In their native environment.
Pretty cool, yeah. I've always wanted to go back to Europe. I mean, my ancestry, Von Benedikt.
Yeah.
The Austrian Alps would be ideal, because that's where we're from. But the Pyrenees in Spain is pretty cool, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And then I'm going to Scotland end of July, early August, somewhere in there for red stag and roebuck stalking.
Have you hunted over there before?
None of those places.
Okay.
I have hunted Germany and the Czech Republic and Italy.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess Mexico is my first international hunt. Very different from Europe, but but pretty cool nonetheless. I do have an Alaska adventure on the docket this year.
Nice. What are you doing?
We're gonna. So I found an outfit. Actually, the dudes that Weatherby and those guys have used in the past. I called them the riverboat type outfit, airboat. Yeah. And I called them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, man, we're booked 2 years out." And I was like, "All right, I don't need a camp. Take me up on an off day, drop me off. I'll float out myself. I don't need anything else." All right, let me talk to my boss.
Yeah.
And she's like, "All right, yeah, we can do it." And so we're gonna just have them take us up, hopefully about 35 miles up, and just drop us and hunt caribou. Hopefully, film my first caribou tag, because first trip we didn't get one.
Yeah.
And then float out. Should be an adventure, man.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What part of the state are you going to?
It's way up, we have to fly into Prudhoe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's up there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to hearing about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you the river off air.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
No, that's cool. It's gonna be a fun trip, man.
What are you taking to hunt with?
I'm taking
a rifle or bow?
Right now it'll probably be my Seekins Precision 300 Win Mag.
Cool.
Which I don't know if you remember, but our podcast, I was trying to decide on a cartridge, and I was grilling you about stuff. I did ultimately end up with 300 Win Mag.
Pretty happy with it?
Yeah, dude. I've already put down 5 animals with that thing this year.
Yeah. Nice.
The recoil is way more manageable than people make it out to be, in my opinion. You know, I'm coming from a background of shooting 12 gauge all day, so.
Sure.
It's those copper mono bullets. It's been lethal, and I've enjoyed shooting it. Accurate.
Very
and
cool.
The other thing is too is I can hop online and find ammo pretty easy.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for me.
That is a big thing.
I don't like being, having to scrounge and look for stuff. And
which specific Barnes bullet have you been using?
It was the Vortex.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Vortex,
solid copper. Yeah. They call it Vortex?
They do.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know how to say it.
Tipped. Triple shock. Yeah.
Which I learned from you is because, correct me if I'm wrong, the friction on a non-tipped could actually deform the nose of the bullet somewhat. So they put a heat-resistant tip on it. Is that correct?
No, that's a different. So in flight, if you have a really high BC bullet and you launch it at really high muzzle velocities, say a BC of 600 or more, and you launch it at 3,000 feet per second or more, the aerodynamic friction can cause some erosion on a typical polymer, Darin polymer tip, but Barnes uses them. Typically monometals, it's very hard to get a monometal that's north of 600 on the BC scale. So the companies that are using the heat-resistant tips are Hornady and Federal. Hornady has the heat shield, and Federal has the slipstream tip.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have a rifle brand that you kind of shoot for, or can you use anything you want, or
I love them all equally.
Okay. Have you shot Seekins before?
I have a little bit.
Okay,
I've never owned one, but I've always liked them.
Yeah. They got the Havoc element, super lightweight and really accurate rifle. But
that's the one with the aluminum receiver, right? So the bolt locks directly into the rear of the barrel.
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool technology.
Yep. I think that's it. Yeah.
It looks right.
It's a great gun, man. What gun are you taking to Europe with you?
I'm not even sure yet.
Not sure yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're 4 months out. I got lots of time.
Lots of tinkering to do.
Yep. To Argentina, I'm taking a Benelli Lupo.
Okay.
But I'm going with Benelli.
Cool. Yeah.
To represent it for
Yeah.
Benelli. Yeah.
Cool.
They're
trying to get more into the rifle space, huh?
Yeah. So that Lupo is unique. It was designed 4 or 5 years ago. That was one of my trips to Italy. I went over there for a pre-launch event, and you look at it and it's like, holy smokes, they've been watching too many space movies. They give you the little clinic, the rundown of how it was designed ergonomically to match the human body and all of our angles and this and that. And you're like, yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
And then you pick one up and you're like, holy moly,
feels good.
They actually got it right.
Okay.
And it feels terrific. And the one I had was in 30-06, which, it's a grand old cartridge, but I had never had one that was just crazy accurate. This one was. It was the most accurate 30-06 I've ever fired.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool too. And it was factory ammo easily under 3/4 of an inch for most of the loads.
Well,
impressive.
I never shot their rifles, but I've always have been a Benelli fan because my background. I started waterfowl from the East Coast, and I have a Benelli Super Black Eagle that I got in high school. I've put tens of thousands of rounds to that thing. I probably cleaned it 3 times. Like literally the paint is wearing off from my hands. Like it's used, and I love that thing, dude.
Yeah.
So
great shotgun.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. This has been great catching up. Appreciate your time, man.
Anytime, brother.
All right,
I always enjoy visiting with you.
You too, brother. Have a good season, man.
You too.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Hunter's Quest podcast. I'm here at the Expo live, and my first guest is Darin from Rent Outdoor Gear. Is it rentoutdoorgear.com or just Rent Outdoor Gear?
Yeah, that's the website, but it's the name of the business. It's just Rent Outdoor Gear.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, just personally.
Been a hunter all my life, pretty much. I used to work for Hoyt Archery Company, designing bows. And I've written.
You're from Utah?
Yep. Okay. Well, actually, I'm from Boise. Lived down here in Utah for 10 years when I was working for Hoyt, and then now I'm back in Boise and own this business, and it's going really good.
Okay. So when did you start the business?
We basically launched the website right at the beginning of 2020, right pre-pandemic, and then
probably not bad timing. I mean, the influx of people going out, and
it was maybe an interesting time for us because it maybe slowed down our growth a little bit because we couldn't go to these shows and do that kind of stuff.
Well, you guys were here last year, right? I remember seeing you last year.
Yeah, we did have a booth last year, and it was really our first opportunity to get out to these shows and talk to customers and really, walk them through the process of how our business works.
So the reason I wanted to talk to you is because, like I said, I'm from Virginia. I've just been Western hunting for this will be my 3rd season I just finished. And it's definitely it's a whole new set of gear. It's a whole new set of skills. It is doable. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Absolutely.
But there's a lot of guys who are like me, who live on the East Coast, listen to my show, watching the show that's going to come out this July, and may not want to just, buy a pack without, literally where I'm in Virginia, you cannot go and try on a EXO or a Stone or Initial Scent. You can't. You gotta order, when I gotta order boots, I order 4 pairs of boots and then have to return 3. You know what I mean? So
and that's kind of why we started this business. We realized there's a ton of people out there that can't just go Western hunting because they don't have the gear and it's so dang expensive and it takes so much research to make an informed buying decision. I know guys that'll spend 2 months researching a backpack.
Right.
And we're trying to lower that barrier to guys that want to come out and do it. Both make it more affordable, but also take some of the pressure off of you to make those decisions by doing all that research. We do it, all the time, and we use all of this gear. And
I'm sure you vet all the stuff. And
we only offer stuff that I would personally take on, like a 21-day unsupported hunt in Alaska, where I literally had to, my life depended on it. And so that's
some of these hunts. That's what it is.
That's the kind of stuff that we carry, and the last thing that I want is somebody to return something and be like, "Man, that sucked.
Right.
I had a bad experience. I didn't like this piece of gear." And so we don't have a huge offering, but it's very.
What are your offerings?
So we have camping gear, so tents, backpacks, sleeping bags. We've got Seek Outside, Kuiu, EXO. So like 0 degree, 20 degree bags, stuff like that. We've got the big Seek Outside teepees. We've got Kuiu, like 2-man backpacking tents and whatnot. So
you got packs.
Yep, Kuiu and Exo mount gear packs.
Okay. Optics.
Yeah, tons of optics. Everything from Vortex, Kawa, Swarovski.
Which that one's really interesting to me because like I just got back from Mexico doing a coos hunt. And like I was like, man, I wish I had some of those like giant Swarovski like BTX things or something.
Yeah.
But like I'm not gonna buy those. But like you could pick them up.
Our coos deer hunters love to rent like the BTX or even the Kawa Highlander Big Eyes from us because they're just a game changer in huge.
Sitting there with like one eye closed all day just gets old.
No, it's so much easier. Your brain just processes the data that it's picking up through both eyes so much better. It puts the puzzle together. It's amazing the things that will just click, and you'll be like, wait a minute, I just saw a deer hoof, and it actually takes a second for you
an
to
ear flicker or
figure out where it was, but you're like, there it is. That's a deer hoof. Whereas looking with one eye, I just don't feel like it's just not very effective.
No.
Certainly it's great for zooming in and judging racks and doing all that, but if you're really trying to dig out an animal out of the thick brush or whatever, nothing beats 2 eyes.
So I come from TV world, right? I'm used to, have you heard of like lensrentals.com? Because I'm used to that.
Absolutely.
I use them all the time. How does your so let's say I wanted to rent like just a bad A optics package for a coos hunt. How does it work?
So you get on our website. Actually, it works almost identical to Lens Rentals. You get on there, you find the item that you want, you click on the calendar, you pick the date that you want the item to arrive to you. So if you're leaving on a Saturday morning or whatever, you get it there on Friday, and then you pick the date that you're going to return it to FedEx or UPS. And so that basically probably the day after you get home, then you can get it over to, throw it back in the box. It comes with a return shipping label.
Nice.
So you don't have to worry about the shipping. You just put the label on the original box, tape it back up, drop it off with UPS or FedEx.
That's awesome.
It comes right back.
So it's just really is like Lens Rentals.
Yeah,
I love using
really
that.
Is.
So
and I've used Lens Rentals personally.
Okay.
I use them quite a bit. I'm an avid photographer.
Oh, nice.
And been in the video for a long time and stuff.
Cool,
so
man.
That's something that I love. And the business started really. I drew a sheep tag in like 2018, and I was like, I need a BTX 95 for this hunt. I need some big eyes. It's huge country. I drew a Frank Church Wilderness sheep tag, and I was like, I wonder. My wife is going to kill me because it's like 2 house payments. So I'm like, I wonder if I can rent one. And I looked, and dude, nobody had them for rent. And I was like, there's a need for this.
Yes.
And
I think it's a great business.
Yeah, I think we've really designed the whole program so that not only does it work great for guys back east, but it's a great option if you're planning on buying an optic anyway.
Absolutely.
Because we have a keeper program, and we'll give you 7 days your rental 100% back toward a purchase. So if you want to try out, a Swarovski binocular, and you're like, I want to buy that, but you can't tell what you're looking at, if it's good or bad, and inside.
Or you used it for a week and you killed a huge buck with it, and you're like, oh, I like these things now.
But it just gives you so much better opportunity to take it out, go use it in different lighting conditions, low light, looking into the sun, looking away.
Because you can't really test something like in a showroom for like 5 minutes.
Absolutely
like it's not like the real thing.
Especially most of the time you're handheld, so everything's moving. You can't really pick up on the differences in resolution between a Swarovski and a Vortex, and and so it's easy to make a poor decision under those conditions. However, if you take 2 competing binoculars out on a hunt over a 3-day weekend, I'll give you both rentals 100% back toward whichever one you pick.
Oh, cool.
And we're going to give you a better price than retail because it's lightly used.
Right.
So I'm going to knock, a couple $100 off the top, let's say, give you 7 days to figure it out if you like it, and give you that 7 days rental back.
It's a no-brainer.
Purchase. So
it's a no-brainer.
Better buying experience, better pricing. Works great for everybody. You don't just have to, be from the Midwest or back east.
Yeah, I think it's genius. Yeah, you're a Western guy and you want to try out a new piece of gear without, dropping all the coin. Yeah. That's beautiful, man. So, did you have a good hunting season this year?
I did.
Yeah. What'd you do?
I killed an awesome bull moose up in Canada.
Oh, no way.
With my bow.
Oh, nice.
My guide had never seen a moose shot with a bow before, and I shot this thing at about 12 yards. And
dude, arrows are deadly if you get them right.
He couldn't believe, how awesome it was. And the thing went down at about 50 yards.
Oh, that's cool.
It was unbelievable.
Is it pretty easy to get into Canada now?
Yeah, they finally dropped the COVID vaccination requirements, and so it's much easier than it was.
Cool.
So even this spring was a lot more difficult. I went up this spring and actually shot a bear up there, and then went back in the fall, and nice. I got a moose too. So.
And then so then you do camping gear, packs, and optics. You don't do rifles, do you?
We actually do. We've got a sister company called Rent Guns and Gear.
Okay.
And we do rent long-range rifle systems. We're the only ones that I'm aware of that have ever done this.
Yeah.
We'll actually ship to an FFL near you. You can pick, hey, I go to Gary's gun shop or whatever, and we'll ship it to Gary. He does a background check and all that stuff.
Sure.
And then when it shows up, you do that process just like you were purchasing it.
Okay.
And then you can ship it directly back to me because I'm an FFL. So when you're done with your rental, you can just drop it off at FedEx or UPS and our return shipping label.
One thing I was going to ask you about was do you have any? Where are you guys based out of?
Boise, Idaho.
Okay. Let's say I got a hunt in Idaho somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's in the Boise area. Could I say, hey, Darin, I'm coming out. I need to rent this stuff. Can I come out and pick it up?
Absolutely. We have tons of people that do that because we're real close to the Boise airport.
Okay.
Excuse me. We're literally 2 miles just due north of the airport. So it's almost perfect for guys. And I-84 runs right through Boise. A lot of people are heading up north to McCall or northern Idaho, and they're coming through there anyway. So we have a lot of people that pick up locally, and we're just about to open our retail location.
Oh yeah, where's that going to be?
So it's same spot. We've been running kind of out of my wife's owns a business in this spot. We've been using her warehouse to ship everything out of, and people picking up there. But we're actually opening up our store next to our storefront. So probably by the I'd say Valentine's Day we should be open.
So what's the biggest lesson you've learned starting your own business?
Oh wow.
Or a big lesson,
dude. Let me count
in the outdoor industry.
Jeez. Just trust your instincts. I think that's probably the best advice I could give to anybody, because if you're undecided or you can't make up your mind, then you won't have a direction, and but if you commit and you go for it, you can pretty much make anything work. Be more successful. But if you're half-assed about it or not sure or wishy-washy, then I don't think you're going to have as good success.
That's great advice. On a personal note, this head is awesome.
Yeah, it is a sweet little pan head. It is lighter
I gotta
than
upgrade
the VA5. The VA5 is super popular. In fact, you've got one over there.
I've got one, and that's the third one. That's the third one I've broken.
Yeah, these are
almost tough?
Almost a half a pound lighter and very tough. So
what do they retail for?
140.
That's not bad.
Yeah, so they're a little cheaper than the VA5, a little bit lighter. And they've got some cool features.
And I like the way this is because I can take my what's it called, Peak Design, and it'll go right in there, won't it?
Yep, it should. It's Arca Swiss.
Yep.
So, yep.
All right, cool. Well, I'll have to check into that. But where can, I really think for guys listening, if you want to do a Western adventure or you want to try out a new piece of gear, you already live out here, definitely check out Rent Outdoor Gear. I haven't used them yet, but I've used similar services, like we were talking about lens rentals, and it seems like a just amazing way to try out gear. So definitely check them out, guys. Where can people find y'all?
Love to help you guys out. You can find us at rentoutdoorgear.com. We're on Instagram at Rent Outdoor Gear, and we're also on Facebook at Rent Hunting Gear.
Okay, cool. Cool, man. Well, thanks for your time, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, man.
Hope we can help you out this fall.
All right, here live at the Expo. Do you go with Jonathan or John?
Either way.
Which do you prefer?
Redbeard. We'll go with Redbeard.
Redbeard. So here with Redbeard, you got 2 Redbeards. We're channeling the Redbeard action. Yours is definitely more fiery than mine, though.
Yeah, it's nice. It's all just for men. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Did you guys have a good workout this morning?
Yes. Yeah, that was fun. We were out there with Dan Staten, Whitetail Fit showed up, Joel.
Nice.
Some of the Hoyt guys. It was a lot of fun.
Cool,
and
man.
Just some people that found it on Instagram, so it was
nice.
It was good.
Nice. And you're from Utah, right?
No, I'm from North Carolina.
Oh, no way?
Yeah.
Do you live out there still?
Nope. I'm here, but I'm from North Carolina.
Okay, where in North Carolina?
In Fayetteville. right outside of
Fort Bragg.
Yep.
He was my buddy Matty lived out there for a while.
Okay.
He's in the Army. Are you in the military at all? Or
Nope.
No.
My whole family was, and that's why I was, raised there. So I was born on the Marine base, Cherry Point.
You didn't drink any of that poison water, did you?
No, I know, right? That's what I'm saying. I asked my dad about that. He was like, "Yeah, I don't know about that." I'm like, "All right."
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, Redbeard. People really call you Redbeard?
It's kind of stuck since Elk Shape Camp 2 years ago.
Okay.
So Dan, he was just like, "Look, I know your name's Jonathan. I'm calling you Redbeard. We're just going Redbeard." I said, "All right, cool." It's stuck since then. So
I'm going to call you Jonathan.
Yeah.
All right. So Jonathan, how long you got a podcast? Redbeard Outdoors.
Yep.
And wait, did the name come from Dan?
No,
okay.
So I had started it, and that's how Dan just kind of recognized who I was.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And stuff.
So how long has your podcast been going?
Year and a half.
Okay.
About a year and a half, yeah. Almost 200 episodes deep.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
So you're doing multiples per week?
Yes. So Mondays I do gear reviews. Wednesdays I do solo episodes.
What's gear review?
Gear reviews.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just said peer review.
No, gear review. So it's about 15 minutes where I just kind of break down something I've used. If I really like it, I recommend it. And then Wednesdays are solo episodes, and then Saturdays like today are my conversations.
Okay.
So,
what do you tend to focus on in your solo episodes?
Just generally, it's kind of motivational stuff. So it's either a story, something that I've learned in my own life, or a quote that I've come across. I kind of break the quote down, why it's meaningful to me. Things along those lines are kind of what I do on Wednesdays.
That's not easy though, to kind of always come up with something to say, So you got to be kind of thinking about it, and it's kind of be a part of your life. Kind of exploring those topics. So.
Yeah, and the whole reason behind, so I post a quote every single day. Sometimes I recycle the quotes, but as far as posting those quotes, I just, there's going to be one day where someone comes across it, and they're like, "I needed that today." Yeah. And I love when people reach out to me now, and they say that. They're like, "I needed this today," or "This hit home," or whatever. And they're not my quotes, right? But they're things that I think are motivational. I like them. I share them. But I also understand that motivation, there's a kind of a 3-step process where you get motivated. That's temporary. It's like pre-workout. It gets you going, and then you need to find the discipline to keep going, and then you build habits and systems that will keep you going even when you don't want to. And so that's kind of that's why I just want to get them started, just kind of that piece with my brand.
Absolutely, and that's been a huge part of my fitness thing is, consistency and discipline over a long period helps having a goal.
Oh yeah.
I mean, actually, I don't know if you can do it without a goal.
Yeah.
Or you could, but anyway. But yeah, keeping it going so that, exactly. It's kind of just part of your day. And even those days you're like, gosh, I don't feel like I'm just phoning it in today. But then you roll into the gym and, I do CrossFit, so the other people's energy, even those days where I'm really not feeling it, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go easy today.
Yep.
And the WOD starts and I'm like, dang, I got to keep up with that dude. And I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yep, that community piece is awesome. Yeah.
So, do you have a day job as well, or?
Yep. So my 9 to 5 is tech sales for a data management system.
Okay.
And we do power sport, marine, and RV.
Okay.
The company's called Lightspeed.
Dang, so you're putting out 3 podcasts a week and have a 9 to 5. Wow.
And traveling to a crap ton of shows.
And you got kids and stuff?
Yep, 5 kids.
5? How do you?
I have an amazing wife. I'll always give her shout outs because she is so supportive.
Yeah.
And at the beginning it was hard because a lot of us guys, we have our phases. You go through gun phase, knife phase, hunting phase. There's lots of phases that we've all been through. And so it was harder at the beginning because she probably thought I was investing too much time into something that was a phase.
That was going to die out.
But now it's been over 2 years that I've had the brand, and she's recognizing that it actually has meaning.
Yeah.
And so, she was always supportive. It's not that she never was, but the conversations are a little bit different now than they were back then. Now it's like, I bring up the show and this and that and all these trips, and she's like, okay, well, let's work around that. Before it was like, are you really sure you need to be doing that kind of thing? So it's been awesome to see that.
That's interesting,
well.
man. Because, and I thought I was the only one, but I definitely, the phase thing, I mean, I don't know. I think some people's personalities are more given to than others maybe, but I've always been kind of like that. I'll sort of get into something and just dive in. some don't last that long, some last longer than others, but that's interesting. Like the journey with your wife sounds similar to mine too, and I realized that, you know, two things that in my life have been constants since I was a child are my faith and hunting.
Yep.
And so those are two big kind of things I like have integrated into this whole thing from the start. So I was like, because I got to the point where even I was scared what I was doing was a phase. You know what I mean? It was like, am I going to be sick of this in 6 months?
Not seeing the growth, you're wondering if you're, you know, things like that. I totally get it.
So it's definitely got to be something that, like, okay, this is tried and true. I've been obsessed with hunting since I was 6 years old. Like, it's probably not a phase.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, and then for me, I mean, it's a little different because I'm an adult onset hunter, is what I call it, you know. And there's a lot of those out there, and there's a lot of people that go through that phase. And I think the reason why is because they see the YouTube, they think it's like gritty.
Yeah.
Does a really good job of putting it out there that it's not easy, but even then, they're still only seeing a minuscule clip of all the days they've put in the backcountry. People don't understand
You're
that.
You're not seeing how hard that hike in was. You're not seeing the 8 hours a day behind the glass that didn't make the cut, that you're just bored out of your mind.
And that's why for me, like when I talk to people about it, I'm like, don't go invest a ton in gear. Go out and embrace the suck for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then if you don't like it, you didn't waste a bunch of money.
Right.
You didn't waste a ton of time. And you're good. But if you do like it, start upgrading your stuff, investing more time and money.
Yeah.
And then you also kind of build that relationship with your spouse or anyone else in your life.
Yeah.
Because you have to build that credibility.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that as men, I think that we fail at because we're so driven naturally that we just want people to accept that we want to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
And that's not how it really works, because you got to think like women think, for the most part, they're more like, I need security. You know, I want my children taken care of. I want me taken care of. Mm-hmm. Whether they consciously say that or not, that's always kind of on the back of their minds. And so if we just come out and say, hey, I'm spending 2 weeks in the backcountry, what goes through my wife's mind is, what if he gets eaten by a bear? Is this taken care of? What about this? What about that? Like all of that. And for me, I'm like, I'm going to go have fun.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that, and then just again building that credibility with your spouse or significant other, whoever it may be, because that's we can't just expect people to accept that we're starting something new,
right?
And it not be a phase.
Yeah. How long you been? How long you been hunting?
I think it's 7 years now. 7 years.
Nice.
Yep.
What was it that drew you into it?
My friend. It was kind of weird. He called up one day, and he just said, you know, he was asking me for some help with something, and I went over to his house, and I saw a bunch of mounts. I was like, "Oh, you're a hunter?" He was like, "Yeah," and he was kind of into gear stuff, and then I was like, "Wow, that's a lot of cool gear." You know, started talking. I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I go with you?" He was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever," and so I went with him and got hooked.
Was that in Utah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of hunt was it?
Just mule deer.
Was it like,
rifle.
Were you guys camping or just kind of day hunting?
It was day hunting.
Yeah. Did you saw some deer that first day?
Yep. So we'd go up before first light. We'd get up on top with glass. You know, I just loved every aspect of it, and I just haven't turned.
The
back.
Rifle hunt, or
at the first it was.
Yeah. Now you've gotten really into archery, huh?
Yep. Last 3.5 years.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so I've been hunting since my dad started taking me, you know, when I was probably 6, without a gun, of course, like, you know, dove hunting, duck hunting. Then, of course, you know, I shot everything under the sun with my Red Ryder BB gun, like all day, every day.
Yep.
But then I started, when I was 13, we got permission to deer hunt, and I went out, I was bow hunting. That first night I saw like 13 deer. I was hooked and shot my first deer of the bow when I was 14. Shot 2 that year, and so I was hooked after that. But it can be transformative.
Yes.
You know,
it's not for everyone. I mean, it takes more work,
especially Western hunting.
Yes.
Because not that, you know, tree stand hunting whitetails is, I'm not knocking it. I still do it. Still love it. But for me, it was a huge part of my like life transformation in terms of getting fit. And just being a better person, really.
Yep. Oh,
so,
yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
There's like meditative qualities to bow hunting and archery just in general.
Yeah.
it's weird. Like, it's almost like putting horse blinders on my eyes and ears when I'm shooting my bow. People can be talking, and I know some people can't do that, but for me, like, I've done stuff with like Joel Turner, and for anyone that doesn't know Joel Turner, I definitely recommend his stuff, Shot IQ. But he didn't make it to the first elk-shaped camp that I went to, but this last one, I'd been tagging him and stuff, and I'd been following the stuff that he teaches, and so he got up like in my face at elk-shaped camp. It was smacking my hat. Yeah, smacking my hat with an arrow, putting the fletchings, blocking my eye from the peep side. He was jabbing me in the ribs, with the arrow, like all this stuff. He was like, all right, Redbeard, let's see how you could shoot. I've seen you on Instagram. Let's see if it's real.
Yeah.
And I did. I was able to, like, that kind of stuff didn't really bug me.
Nice.
The only one that kind of got me was being on 1 foot, and he pushed me while I was on 1 foot. So that kind of, that was kind of like the extreme, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really, how I.
So you made the shot though, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
Was that the iron, the whole thing? Okay, cool, man. That's good, man. So what's kind of your goal or vision with the podcast and all that stuff you're working on?
So with the podcast, like gear reviews to start, it's just me going out and testing stuff and giving out. I'm not one to bash equipment. Like I don't do that. I'm not into the negative. I love building people up. So if a company sends me something or I purchase something that I don't like, I usually don't post those.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to bash people.
Yeah, there's no reason. You can just be silent.
But I message them or email them or call them, whatever kind of contact I've got with them, and I give them feedback.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, I really liked XYZ thing. I didn't like this thing.
Right.
Or do you want me to post the review or not? Kind of thing. But I'm going to be honest if I do. And anyway, I'd like to point people in the right direction of good gear, because people spend their hard-earned money on expensive pieces of equipment. And you don't want to get something that doesn't work for you.
Right.
And then have to deal with the returns, or sometimes there is no return, like, all that mess.
Sure.
So that's the vision with the gear reviews. I get to partner with some great companies. And the other thing, too, is having a 9-to-5, I'm not worried about money. So I can pick what company I want to work with.
Yeah.
And then once I do that, my big thing with partnering with companies is providing a discount to the audience.
Yeah.
And because I believe in the gear, etc. Wednesdays, again, just the motivational. And then Saturdays, I love having conversations with people and getting a different side of who they are. So, like, my biggest one to date, as far as like getting feedback, was with Eric Chesser. And
he's great,
reason,
dude.
right? The reason being is that a lot of people didn't realize that he's not always been a hunter. And getting that story out of him, like, I love that those things naturally come out in a podcast.
Yeah.
And I've had so many people that are like, that's crazy that he went through this whole transformation to become what he is now. And so that's the vision with the podcast, is basically that, providing good kind of a conversation where people can be a fly on the wall for people that they may never get to talk to in their life. And then again, the motivation piece and the gear piece, just trying to hit all the little niches that when I was, 5-6 years ago, that's what I would watch. That's what I would listen to. And so now I just want to provide my own aspect of that. I do a different type of gear review, like bow reviews that I did. I talk about aesthetics. A lot of people don't. I don't talk about hand shock, because for me that doesn't matter to me. No one thinks about the hand shock after you shoot a bow. Like when you shoot
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
like, dude, it's a bow.
Like when you shoot a bow.
I shoot a 300 Win Mag, so.
Yeah, exactly. And you
talk about hand shock.
And you don't think about the kick on a 300 Win Mag
Not
after you hit an animal.
No.
Yeah, exactly. You're worried about that. You're in the glass. So anyway, that's kind of my take. I just like putting my own perspective on things.
Hand shock.
Yeah, it's
what
true.
A bunch of girls.
A lot of people do that. They're like, boom, I
bet Dan's like, my hand shot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, seriously.
Dan, what a girl.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Nah.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm just messing with Dan because we mess with each other. But yeah, man, that's cool. Well, it's good to get to know you a little bit. And chat. So where can people check out the podcast if they want to hear it?
So I'm on YouTube. Just Redbeard Outdoors and any of the platforms. So Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, if you do that. There's so many of them that I don't even know what they're called anymore.
Podbean.
Podbean. Google,
I just like saying that. Podbean.
Yeah, if you guys don't have an Apple phone, which I don't know what's going on there, but you know.
Still like 90% of my 99% of my downloads are like Apple iOS.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's where you can find me at.
Cool, man. Well, thanks, brother.
Yeah,
thanks for talking to you, man.
Appreciate it.